I've always wanted to do a show with drag artists who have different styles, backgrounds, and views. A show where they can tell their story their way. And in a perfect world, I join in on the conversation. This is that show. We call it Exposed. Hi, everybody. My name is Joseph Shepard, and welcome to Exposed. It is the show where I chat with all of your favorite queens, and we get their story their way. Now, today, I am joined by a beautiful queen who was introduced to many of us in season 12 of RuPaul's Drag Race, where she attracted us all with her mating call, brought us into her Glasgow shenanigans on her podcast, Heidi N Closet, and came back to grace our screens for All Stars 8. It's Heidi N Closet.
Hi, darling. Hi.
How are you doing?
I'm so good. How are you?
I'm so good.
Oh, my goodness. You look good.
So do you.
Oh, my goodness.
I mean,
Thank
damn, you look skitty.
I wore the good corset today.
The good corset?
I know I was going to be on camera, so I wore the good corset.
I'm glad you wore the good corset.
Thank you. It's tight right now. I can't breathe. But
are you medicated now?
I'm not medicated right now. I usually am. Probably like 9 times out of 10 I'll be medicated. Even sometimes on the show. I'll never tell you when.
I'm going to go back and watch them and I'll figure it out.
Honestly, being medicated while filming was some of the funnest things ever. I'd also get some of the other girls medicated too.
As you should.
Well, the thing is, they were smoking all my weed.
Oh, you brought physical nuggets.
Oh, and gummies. Oh, I had the girls high. I had the girls
Where did you keep it when they checked your bags?
Well, if you watch the episodes, there's these shoes I'm wearing, these Prada boots, and they have like the little pockets on the side of them. And that's all I'm saying. That's all. I'm gonna leave it there.
Smart.
I'm leave it there. Yeah.
Smart. Because I had, who was it I just had on? Alexis Michelle, and she said she was wanded down. Were you guys wanded down?
What's wanded down?
Like, were they like
Who's
the little?
Wanda? Oh, they didn't do that to me. I mean, they definitely like searched my belongings and stuff.
But they didn't
I didn't get the wand. They must not like her.
Yeah, I don't think they. We already know that from the edit.
Wait, before we get sidetracked, I brought you a little present.
Oh.
It's not this hair. It's not this gorgeous hair. Zach Killian, thank you so much for making this. But I was actually originally was going to bring you the Heidi N Closet quick shot. Uh-huh. Unfortunately, I couldn't bring you that, so I got you the next best mouth.
Okay, the next best mouth.
Here we are. Got your little gap mouth. There you go, baby.
Thank you. Oh, this is
I think you can just iron it onto whatever. It's the same mouse that I wore on the my ninja outfit.
Yes.
It looks so good. It's so proportionate with your face.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I feel special. I feel like I'm part of like the Gap crew.
You're literally one of the only people who have it because the only people who have it is me.
Well, you know what? I feel even more special.
You should. You should feel special.
So let's get into your life.
Okay.
You were born and raised in Ramshore, North Carolina.
The sewer, as I've always called it that, the sewer. Mm-hmm.
And I know that you had a little bit of a, I guess you would say, a traumatic childhood in some ways, many ways. Your mom passed at a young age, and then your father's estranged, so you basically were raised by your grandmother.
Yes,
how was that?
Great. It was everything that you would think being raised by a grandmother would be. It was a lot of love, a lot of crazy, a lot of old timey fashion values as well. I grew up very much like. Though I'm young still, I grew up with like an old spirit because I was raised by my grandmother and stuff. So I think that's really carried over, has allowed me to be more in tune with myself at an earlier age than most people are around my age. So it definitely helped for sure. But it was tough though because it was 5 of us that she was raising.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm the youngest of 5, so it was. We didn't always have what we wanted, but we always had what we needed.
So the youngest of 5 what were the rest, brothers, sisters? How was it?
Brothers and sisters, yes. I have no full siblings. I only have half siblings. However, I was raised with those 4 other siblings, and they are my brothers and sisters. Fully, 100%. They're blood. They're 100%.
Now, I know growing up in the South, my Southern grandmother was Southern Baptist.
Yeah.
church every Sunday.
Oh, yes.
It was going after church and having your biscuits that she made from scratch and everything.
Talk dirty to me.
What was your grandmother like?
You basically just described her.
Yeah?
We did go to church. We actually went to church at one point. We were going to church like 5 times a week. Sunday service, of course, Bible study on Wednesdays, choir rehearsal on Tuesdays and Thursdays.
You sang?
She might have a little couple vocals. And the soup kitchen on Saturdays.
Okay.
I worked at the soup kitchen growing up, helping the homeless and stuff, yeah.
So you were fully in the whole church environment.
Oh, I was
Yes.
almost always at church. Always. Fully grown up in that.
When did you figure out, or when did you realize, hey, you know what? I'm not the straight level. I am a little homosexual.
Oh, I knew very early in, very, very early in, I knew I was a flaming homosexual. It was strange because I grew up in the church, so I would sit there and the pastors would always go onto the tangents of, being gay is an abomination and stuff, and I'm just sitting there like, oh, so I guess I'm an abomination. Oh, but I knew at a very early age. I knew something was different. The thing is, I knew I was different. I didn't know what it was, but I did have my eldest sister is trans.
Okay.
So she kind of was like my outlet into the queer world, and allowed me to see more into that. And I think that allowed me to know at an earlier age than I probably would have known that I'm a flagrant homosexual.
I was reading and I was researching you, and I saw that your sister, I guess it was the one that you were just talking about, she was the one who kind of took you to your first drag show?
Yes, she was. It was for her birthday.
Okay.
Because my birthday's in September, her birthday's in December, so I had just turned 18 a couple months ago, and I was never really like a fun fact, I was never really the outgoing, like, going to let's go to the club and party. That wasn't me. So hadn't really experienced it. So she was like, you're going to come to the club for my birthday. We're going to watch a drag show. We're going to have a kiki. We're going to be fun. You're going to love it. I know you're going to love it. And I fell in love with the art form of drag right then and there. And I was like, wow, I want to one day be up there parading around in something extravagant and be giving it to the audience and being paid to do it. So a little while longer. It took me a little longer, but I put on the dress for the first time and tiptoed on out, and 9 years later, here I am. Wow.
How long from your 18th birthday to when you first started drag?
2 years.
2 years?
Well, it's because I wanted to make sure that if I was going to step out into drag, I wanted to make sure I looked correct and had everything prepared. And as you see, clearly that was not the case. Because I'm still not to that point either. So if I had just been wait, I still never would have started. But I got to a point where I was confident enough and wanting to do it enough to get out there and do it. And I did a talent show, and I won the talent show.
What was your talent?
What do you think my talent was?
Giving everybody a quick shot?
It wasn't quick back then. It was long, hard, long-lasting. But it was a shot. I don't know what that means. But that was like a little dance number.
Okay.
I was a trained dancer for a couple of years, so I've always had like a dancer background, and like just it allowed me to move more delicate.
Your name, Heidi N Closet.
Yes.
You have talked about that plenty of times before. You said, quote, it came from a joke. It started out as a lot of men from my hometown are closeted, and they would always try and get my goodies and whatnot. Yeah. I was like, there's no need to be hiding in the closet. Your name was a controversy of season 12.
For no reason. There's been worse names on that show. Like Calorie Kardashian. Like, that's a horrible name. Love Calorie. I actually do like Calorie. But that's a horrible name. And there's a lot of other names. So I'm just like, these girls that you just, Jam's okay, but Heidi Closet's the one that's too far. Okay, great, yeah.
I mean, I will say when you first came on and your name was Heidi N Closet, I was like... I think that's probably what everybody was like. But over time, as you say it more and more more...
It feels good to the mouth.
It does.
Thank you. I have that effect on people.
So you get on Drag Race. How many times had you applied before?
Just one.
Just one?
Just the one time. Yeah, I had never auditioned before season 12. I actually auditioned at the very last second. I was trying to convince my my good Judies at the time to audition with me. I was like, we should all audition. Maybe one of us will get it. And they were all like, no, I don't want to do it. I was like, okay. And then I pressed send on my application. Because I was gonna do it regardless, but I was like, if I'm about to send it, I'm like, if they can do it too, maybe we get to do it all together. And a couple months later, about a month later, I got the call to keep going forward in the audition, and then little by little, things kept going, and then a couple months later, I was walking into the workroom for the very first time. Damn. Didn't even wear what I was supposed to wear because I was told not to wear it. And I had to come up with my mating call. Like, I had been doing my mating call, but that wasn't going to be my entrance.
What was it going to be?
I had this business suit outfit that was like black and silver pinstriped, and the pants ripped off. And I was going to walk in and rip the pants off, and I was going to say, "I hope you bitches mean business because I came to work." Ooh. Yeah, I know. That would have been cunty, right?
And then why couldn't you wear that outfit?
Because they told me that the pinstripes were fucking with the cameras. Oh. But I've seen many a pinstripe outfits on the show, so.
There's been plenty.
I saw Alexis Mateo's pinstripe gown on the season All Stars 5. I was like, that's much worse than my outfit ever could have been. Not as in like bad, but as in like it was fucking with the cameras, and mine wasn't nearly as tight. Because it was the tightness of the stripes that fucks with the camera.
But I would have loved to have taken in your pulling off of the pants.
Oh, I would have loved that too. I mean, a lot of people do.
Yeah.
People love when I take off my pants.
But you had something even more iconic.
Yeah.
You had your mating call.
It came out cut.
How did that even come to you?
I sit at home sometimes and just make weird noises.
I'm so glad that I'm not the only one.
I love to see what kind of weird noises I can make, and that was just one that was one of the first ones I came up with. Like, oh, I live, and I kind of just stuck with it. And, made it my mating call throughout the years. I was like, when I would flirt with people, I'd be like doing it to people. It's just really fun and stupid.
Did it last as long as what it was shown on TV?
Gag, I actually had to film my entrance twice.
Okay.
So right before we walked in, they asked us what we're going to say, and I had did the rehearsal one, and I did the noise. They're like, perfect. So I went in, walked in, and I guess my throat had gotten dry or something, and it wasn't doing it right, and I just finished and started posing. They're like, now can you go back out and do it again, please? I'm like, okay, sure, yeah. And I went back out, and then I had to walk back in and do it again, and it gave that time. And the thing is, I never held it that long. I could. I didn't. I guess they took both times and just ran it down. And I was like, y'all really have me up here sounding like I did that for 12 seconds. Oh, my God.
I just remember when it came on the screen, I was like, oh, my goodness. I was laughing so hard.
I was like, I did not do it that long, but I live. I probably did it for like about half of the time.
Yeah.
It was up there. But
I thought you were about to say a half hour.
But God, dog. No. Not a half hour.
I chatted with Jada Essence Hall shortly after her win.
Yes.
And she informed me that there was a reading challenge on season 12.
Yeah, we saw it.
We did not see it.
What are you talking about?
Why was it so bad? Was it bad?
You know what? It wasn't great, but what I will say is it was better than that. What was it? Canada versus the World's reading challenge. Do you remember that one? That one was horrible.
Yeah, that was bad.
But we did ours, and the producers came in right after we finished. They're like, yeah, we can't use any of that. And we were like, ah! Well, the thing is, we weren't originally supposed to have a reading challenge because they had us do the box thing. Where they had written all the jokes down for us, and we were supposed to just read them off and be like, read each other. So that was supposed to be our reading challenge, and then we were like, do we get a regular reading challenge? They were like, no, for the longest. But then when we got down to it, they were like, okay. I guess they just wanted to feel space or something. I don't know. They had made it clear that we weren't going to read, but then kind of like, okay, let's do it then. And it was pretty bad. Like, Sherry, she went down the line and complimented everyone. Like, she didn't read no one. She just would just give everyone a compliment. I'm like, this bitch playing by her own rules, which she do. And who else? I mean, it was. I think by that point, all the people that most of the girls were going to read like well had already went home, because I think it was like top 6 of us, so it was only like a couple of us left, so we didn't really have like the best reason. We all got along too, like almost like on season 12, we call it the best friend race because this is what it was, and we didn't really have like sharp reads for each other.
Yeah. Well,
but it's fine.
That stinks.
It's fine. I'm sad that I missed I had one good read, and it was for Sherry.
What was it?
It was, I know you're struggling with thinking about you going home. Just keep your chin up. Both of them. I'm so hateful. Oh, my goodness.
Well, speaking of Sherry.
Oh, yeah, let's talk about her.
I would like to know, do you believe that your edit would have been different if they did an edit around her?
I think it would have been less me. I think what I fully think is that Sherry was going to win our season. Mm-hmm. I think if she wasn't going to win, it was going to be Gigi. Mm-hmm. I think Jada wholeheartedly deserves it. I think Jada has been a phenomenal representative and is sickening and I love that bitch. That's my homegirl. That's who I wanted to win. But from like when we're there, we can feel, we can see, we can look, we can do, and it was the whole season. It was, we love these two. We love these two. So it was always going to be those two, and that just how it didn't pan out that way. But she was very talented. She was. I think people would have loved Sherry Pie.
Yeah.
People would have fell in love with her. I say it all the time, like, you can't take away the talent that she had. Yeah. And there was times when she should have won that she did. Specifically, Snatch Game. She should have won Snatch Game. She had even the producers and the cameramen rolling around on the floor.
Wow.
Like, she had us breaking character during Snatch Game. She had... That's why we were all confused when Gigi won. We're like, what? But they kept doing that to us. It was very obvious that we could see who should won, and then they'd be like, no, it's this one. We're like, oh. That's why we was hyping up Jan so much during the damn Rusical.
Poor Jan.
But she got her win. She got her win eventually.
What, years later?
Yeah, I mean, hey, as long as you get one, I guess that's all that matters, right?
That's true.
She got that coin, too.
When everything was happening, so basically your whole season was right at pandemic time.
Yeah, the pandemic.
Literally, season. The first episode aired, and then pandemic started.
Mm-hmm. And then the second episode aired, and then I had to rush home from LA, or I was going to get locked down here in LA.
Oh, wow.
Because it was before I moved. We were so excited. We were so excited to get on the road, and then we're like, no, we're sitting at home for a year and a half.
Did you have things already booked?
My calendar was booked the whole year. And I just had to sit there and watch each gig just get ticked off one after the other. I was like, it was hard. It was hard. It's strange because it came at a time when we were the focal point of everything and people were looking at us and we were being that light in a very dark time. Mm-hmm. But also for us, it was also a very, very dark time because we thought our lives were going to change. We were going to be getting to experience all these amazing things, and we were having to sit at home and look at the TV, which... Honestly, when I look back at it, I'm kind of grateful that I still had that opportunity to sit home and watch the season and connect with people from online, because I know I would not have probably received nearly as much love if the world had been open and everybody had been just doing all the things that they would have done. So I try to take everything that I've been through as a blessing.
Yeah.
Whether it was good or bad. So.
Yeah, and I think, too, when you think about it, you guys were that pivotal part of COVID. We were all in our homes. And just being able to, go every single week and be like, you know what? I can spend the next hour and a half just in this, invested, and I don't have to think about what's around me. And I think that really made the whole cast extremely special to the audience. So like you said, I don't necessarily feel like there was too much hatred compared to other seasons?
There was some, but yeah, there was definitely... Well, to be fair, they did have to cut some of it out because Sherry was, even though she was loved by them, she was also one of the shit stirrers on the season. Like, she'd be one of the ones that would come in and poke the girls and then get into the fight with the girls and stuff. Like, her, Britta, and Aiden would get into it all the time, but they cut all of her out, so it was just Britta and Aiden going back and forth. And then, in the Untucked, where Gigi and me were getting into it, and Jackie and all the other girls were getting into it, Sherry was getting up in there, too.
Can you say your line?
At the end of the day, it doesn't fucking matter. The bitch is safe. Leave her the fuck alone. Fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, and fuck you. I'm worried about Heidi.
Yes.
Yeah. You like that?
I love that you have it memorized.
I've been asked to say it so many times. I was so nervous of how that moment was going to come off.
I bet.
I was like, people are going to hate me. People are going to think I'm a crazy bitch, which I am. But it came off as one of the most triumphant moments for me. So I was like, wow, okay, wow. You just never know what you're going to get with these people.
And they never knew it was Sherry Pie.
No. It did.
To that point, have you talked with her afterwards?
Yes, I have. It's definitely at first when things were happening, I would stay in contact with her via text because I was like, I know, because I had just spent the whole summer with her. Mm-hmm. And for me personally, she was always kind to me. She was always sweet to me. She even, for the makeover challenge, she lent me the outfit that my makeover girl wore, Nicole. Wow. She lent me that outfit because I didn't have anything that would fit Nicole. So she was like, here, because we were actually supposed to have a disco runway.
Okay.
That ended up not being used. So I used my disco runway and then Sherry's disco runway. So she has always been kind to me. So I was checking in on her because even though what she did was horrible and I do stand with the victims, I don't want anyone to harm themselves. Mm-hmm. And going through that, especially like being, like there was the New York, see, okay, so the New York girls on our season, they were very much like, throw her to the wolves, I don't want anything to do with her. I'm like, I get that y'all don't want to be like publicly with her or anything, but y'all were up under her ass the whole time while we were filming that was y'all's homegirl, allegedly. But now that she's done wrong, y'all just throw her to the wolves. I get that y'all don't want to be with her, but as a person, as a human being, she is a human being, and going through this alone is dark, and she could end up harming herself. And I know I personally would have never forgave myself if she had committed suicide or something during that dark time. So I would stay in contact. Not a lot, because it was still just like a hard situation to maneuver.
I had Nikki on, and Nikki said the exact same thing. She was like, I did check in with her, and I have checked in with her because she said the same thing. I don't want anybody to be so down on themselves that they end up resorting to something that is awful.
Because I know that feeling. I've been there.
Yeah.
I've attempted before, and it's not a good place to be. So I knew that I needed to check in every once in a while. Be like, hey, darling, just so you know, you're not alone in this world.
I'm sorry that you had to go through that. And
it's all good. Life throws you obstacles, and it's all about maneuvering and trying to for me personally, I always try to make the world a better place, whether it's bringing a smile to someone's face or just sharing some love, anything like that. So that's why I see my job in this world to do. Like people see me as a drag queen, I see myself as a joy provider.
Yeah. I like that, a joy provider.
Thank you.
And you provided people a lot of joy in the first episode when you had hives. Can you please tell me how this story happened?
Not the hives. Okay, so for the first, so I was so excited to go to Drag Race, super stoked. Everything was going well until I got into the workroom. My headdress had fallen off. I was emotional. I was like, okay, so I have to kill it. So I was like trying to, which I did choreograph. I'm that bitch. They're welcome. And then that night we were exhausted, so we were eating some food. I had some kale as well as granola bars. And I get back to the hotel, my lips starts to swell. Ooh. My throat starts to close, my chest starts to tighten. I start getting hives all over my body, and I have to get the PAs to come get me. And they were like, come in. They checked on me first, and they were like, okay, we're gonna go see what we can do for you. I was like, okay. And I'm just sitting in my hotel room by myself, crying, bawling my eyes out. Not because I'm having allergic reaction, because I don't want to be sent home. Because I'm like, I literally just got here. Mm-hmm. If I get taken out because of allergic reaction, I will be completely, utterly destroyed. So they come back. They take me to the hospital. The doctors see me and they checking on me. They giving me medication. I'm not allowed to leave until I show signs of getting better. I'm not allowed to leave the emergency room until it was like 4:45, 5 o'clock. I got back to my hotel about 5:30, and had to be up at 6:30 to like shower and get ready to go to set that day. So I did. And I honestly probably shouldn't have. I probably should have not have gone, but I did. I'm proud of what I did, and I didn't get sent home. So I was a trooper.
Do you feel like if there was a elimination round that you would have left?
No, Nikki would have gone home that night. It's so funny because when we got back, we had finished the non-elimination. We went to the workroom. We sat on the pink couch or whatever. We're sitting there. We're chilling. It was obvious and apparent that me and Nikki were like the bottom two, if there was going to be a bottom two. And the girls asked that same question. I think it was Jackie O-ass, always instigating bullshit. She was like, what would have happened if you two would have lip sync? I was like, I would have sent Nikki home. And they didn't show it because then I'm gagged that they didn't show it because later on in the season I do send her home. So I was like, that would have been like great foreshadowing that they just did not.
That would have been great foreshadowing.
But I guess they didn't want to show that. But it was all in like jest. I was like, oh, I would have sent her home. So yeah.
Well, you eventually get off the show.
Yes.
And you get a podcast.
Yes.
Heidi N Closet with Miss Jada Essence Hall.
Yes. Winner of season 12.
Winner of season 12. And you guys have this, you kind of started, it's still in pandemic times.
Yeah.
You know, you're doing virtual stuff and then you eventually get into a studio and you guys are recording. I want to know, what did you expect was going to come from the podcast? Did you expect it to start like taking off the way that it did?
You know, I was just trying to have fun with my girl. I was just trying to cut up Kiki, share some good times, some good laughs with people. And honestly, that's the main thing that we got out of it. But we've also gotten so much more out of it. Like people, they love us as a duo. They put it like they love us working together. And it's allowed us to work on Drag Me to Dinner and other things too. So it's got. We even got nominated for Queerty. Almost won, but damn it, Sibling Rivalry is here to stay. They got a chokehold.
They do have a chokehold.
Which good for them.
They're paying off those people that are voting.
Honey, I live. No. But I've gotten more than I ever thought out of the podcast with Jada than I thought I would. And we just started season 2. Season 2 is looking really cute. We have a whole setup and everything.
I love it.
It's kind of cunty. So make sure y'all go check it out on Mom Plus Gold. Because it's right now exclusively on there, but eventually later on it'll be let out to the public at general admission as well.
General admission as well.
Hey.
I love how open you are on the podcast.
Thank you.
You do not hold back.
No.
You say what's on your mind. You had your infamous story about shitting in a parking lot in Glasgow.
But in Europe, nothing's open like late at night.
Nothing is open late.
That's how I ended up shitting in a parking lot. In Glasgow.
That's basically all you said, though. So I would like for you to tell this whole story.
Oh, yeah. It's because we went to the break and then people assumed we were going to like just talk more about it.
Yeah,
Well, see, what had happened was, so I was in Glasgow.
Okay.
And when we're on tour, once we're out of the venue and they close up, we're not allowed back in the venue. And we're not allowed to shit on buses where we're basically human trafficked on tours, basically. And since I had to do number 2, I looked up a little convenience store nearby, and I had Jiggly and Tatiana were having a discussion that day. So I grabbed Tatiana and a couple of the PAs, and we walked over to the convenience store. And then I walked in, and the guy who was working the store, he wouldn't let me use the restroom. He was actually being very rude to me. I was like, okay. So I went and got some toilet tissue from the back and came up, was buying it. People who were at the show actually that night came in at that time. They're like, Heidi, we love you. I was like, oh, hey, darling. And I looked at him like, yeah, you didn't know who you was fucking with, did you? So then I went and shit in his parking lot.
Did you just leave it there?
Yeah.
Good for you.
Yeah. I stand by it. And I will never say which parking lot it was because I don't want him to get that free press. I give enough free press away. He don't get no free press.
I feel like if you were to say the parking lot, then people would go there to like shit in the parking lot.
Yeah, but I don't want him to have that satisfaction.
Yeah, he doesn't need it.
Because he was rude.
Yeah.
He was disrespectful. He don't get nothing from me. Except for picking up my shit. So
I loved the virality of that. That story was just going everywhere. I'm pretty sure you had like an Entertainment Weekly article that asked about it.
I've had to talk about it everywhere. I'm gagged. I was like, y'all really want to know about this shit? I get it. I had full on interviews just about the shit. I was like, great. I was like, it was kind of brown, kind of. No.
And I heard that you were actually asked to be on All Star 6 and you turned it down. Is that true?
Yes, it is.
What did you turn it down for?
Well, I turned it down because it basically came down to me either moving to LA or me doing All Stars. Because it was, they asked me right after my first episode on season 12 if I wanted to go on All Star 6. I was like, well, I don't even know if the people are going to like me or not. Clearly, they knew what they were doing. So they knew what they were doing. But I didn't know what the audience felt about me yet because after the first episode, I was just getting a lot of hate from the Barbs. The Barbs hated me after the first episode. So that's all I could see.
Because of Nikki?
Because of Nikki, yeah. So that's all I was seeing was all this hate. And then they asked me to do All Star 6. I was like,
and you were like,
I was like, I'll think about it. And then they actually asked me 3 times. For All Star 6. They asked me once right after my first episode, once later on, and then once for the final time. It was like probably about a month before, 2 months before they were about to start getting ready and stuff. And I was just like, I don't think it's time for me to go. So I did. So
you have the opportunity to go on All Star 6. You do not, but you do go as a lip sync assassin.
I did. And I loved it. It was a great time.
I want to know about that process.
Yes, the process of being a lip sync assassin?
Yeah, because when I talked to Laganja about it, Laganja said that she was like notified 2 weeks before, but she wasn't given a song till like close before.
Yes.
Did you like the song that you were given?
Did I like the song? Yes. Is it necessarily a song I would perform? No. And it was very similar to that. Well, the thing is, because since they had asked me for All Stars, I was like, I won't be doing it. However, if y'all need an assassin, let a hoe know. And so they reached out. And then 2 days before I was supposed to go do it, they sent the song. And I had to learn the song, figure out what I was going to wear, do all da-da-da-da-da-da, and then go do it. And I did.
Damn.
Yeah, it's really quick. It's very like, because they want it to be fair for the girls, even though technically it's not fair because the girls know they have when we go, we get the whole list of all the songs potentially that it could be. So if they're it's technically like it's in their favor because they have the podcast, the little iPod, so they can listen to all the songs at all times. So they can just learn all the songs generally, whereas we would just get it just the 2 days before. It's just the one song though. So I guess it's like we have the same amount of time that knowing it's the song that we're doing, but they have more access to the song, of course.
Yeah. Do you guys get to submit songs?
No. As assassins, no.
What about on the other end?
I personally didn't.
Because there's sometimes those songs are just too on the nose for people.
I personally didn't.
Let's get into your time on All Stars 8. You came, your promo look, let me talk about that. That was fire.
Thank you. Well, I knew how the rest of the season was going to go, so I was like, well, let me make sure I look good for this.
I mean, no, but it was fucking bomb. Like the color on your skin tone, the way that I was like, I want this look.
Well, I'm happy you like the color because I did not want that color originally.
What color did you want?
I was going to go for more of the pink purple route, but as I was the producers messaged me specifically. They're like, can you please stay away from all these colors because everyone else was doing like the red and the pinks and the purples. And then no one was doing because it was the 4 colors. Those were our 4 colors: pink, red, purple, and orange. And no one was doing orange except for me and Lala, I guess. So they were like, could you potentially stay away from those colors? I'm like, so I have to do this color? They're like, yeah. I'm like, okay. But I loved it.
Well, you looked fucking great.
Thank you.
So I think it all worked out.
Oh, yeah, I look sickening.
Yeah, you do look sickening.
Gag.
I would love to know, where did you think that you were going to be placement-wise compared to the other girls?
Placement-wise,
did you think that you were going to be like
top
2?
I think I would have at least been top 5. I don't think there was no way I was leaving before top 5.
I thought
unless I made it.
I was thinking you were going to be top 2.
Well, thank you. A lot of people think that, and I think if I had stuck it out, there was a good chance I would have probably landed around there too. Yeah. But I definitely, for me personally, I went in, I wanted to go have fun, I wanted to enjoy it, and I was like, on season 12, I was like, if I can just make the top 6, I'll be fine. And my mindset this time was like, if I make top 5, whatever happens after that, I don't give a fuck.
Well.
So yeah. Didn't make it.
Let's talk about the Snatch Game.
Oh, shit. Okay. Oh my God.
You do your Snatch Game, you get out, and then of course there's the moment of the drama of, oh my gosh, the Kahana thing, and then you also had the the Candy and Jimbo wanting to vote Jimbo out and all this drama ended up coming to surface. However, I will say I felt from your energy from the episode before and the episode before that you were starting to feel a certain type of way.
Yeah.
Why were you feeling that type of way?
Well, they don't show it. The thing is, Candy kept poking at me and kept trying to bring up. One thing is me and Candy had our own conversation off the TV and stuff, and we talked. And she's like, "You told the girls what I said. You told Jimbo what I said." I was like, "Well, it's the same thing that you did to me when you told Kahana what I said." Because if you go back and watch the Untucked, where I'm talking about leaving for the first time, look at the wide shot. Everyone else around us is talking to each other. It's just me and Candy talking to each other. They had to blow that audio up so you could hear it because I was whispering to Candy in that instance. But what they don't show is Candy grabs, she tries to get me to go over to the side and talk about it, and I was like, I don't want to talk about it right now. So instead of just leaving it, she grabs Kahana, goes across the room, and tells Kahana everything I just said on camera. And that's how the producers knew I wanted to quit, and that's how all this stuff started. So I'm like, that whole energy right there was where my whole energy of like being through with the whole situation was from that instance. I'm like, you literally just, and then producers kept having her, because she's told me, she said the producers were the ones that kept having me do that to you. I was like, well, you told them no to the final lip sync song against Jimbo. Why can't you tell them no now? Then, because you could have.
Yeah.
Because I told them no all the time. And I was very much the girl I would be calling out production for things like, that's not fair, this, that, and third. I did it on season 12 too. But I did it on this season, and all the girls would be just agreeing with me, like, yeah, that's true. But then when it comes times, that just wasn't the case.
When you were sitting down and you said that you did want to leave, was that because that you thought that you should have been placed higher?
Part of it, yeah.
Yeah.
Part of it, for sure, absolutely. Because I have eyes and I can see, and there was at least 2 girls in the top that should not have been in the top. Point blank and period. So what am I supposed to do when I know that these things are happening around me and I have no control over it? Yeah. What am I supposed to do? Just suck it up? Yeah. Just take it? When I know my worth? We as drag queen entertainers, we're taken advantage of many a times. And we're not treated as well as other entertainers. We're not. So what am I'm supposed to just sit here and just take it? No. I'm going to voice my opinion. I'm going to voice how I feel. And if y'all don't value me, then I'll go. Because I know what I bring to the table. I know. They do too. So I don't know why they were playing.
You had a confessional and you said that you were going to blow shit up.
Yes. Which had nothing to do with...
What did it have to do with?
Girls breaking rules, but I'm not going to go into details about it.
Okay. So it was totally something different.
Yeah.
It was...
That whole instance was about me talking about how some of the girls there were breaking rules. Yeah.
Not talking about that, but talking about it indirectly, were some of those girls... Did the girls get the rightful elimination?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, they did.
So you end up leaving the show. And you had a whole moment. You basically like ran out of the workroom.
Yes.
And that was all on camera. I can only imagine you gave fucking production hell with them having to get cameras and run after you, like Mari.
That's like Murray. Oh my God, yeah. The drama, yeah, for sure. And I came back in and had whole conversations with the girls too before I left too. Because if you watch the whole thing, like we start with no makeup on. And then the other girl, like I start with a little bit of makeup on, and then at the end I have like no makeup on. Whereas the other girls, they start with almost no makeup on, and then by the end of it they have fully mugged on. So it's like you could tell it's been a time lapse. So yeah, it was a lot. That was.
And I know in interviews you've said you do not regret it. You are glad that you did it for your sanity, for yourself. You still in that place?
Oh, 100%. I stand by that. I honestly, I wish the other girls would have walked out right behind me, too, because they wanted to just as bad. As you saw, Kahana wanted to leave 2 weeks later. And honestly, a lot of the other girls wanted to leave that same day. Most of them, actually, all but 2. So.
All but the top 2?
No. All but one of the top 2 wanted to quit.
Well, we know it wasn't Jimbo.
Yeah, no. It was Jimbo and Jessica. They didn't want to go. Everyone else wanted to quit.
Looking at the whole season, do you agree with the winner?
Yes, 100%. Whether I was there or not, she was going to win. Not because she was predestined or picked, whether she was or not, yes. But the bitch is talented. The bitch is incredible. She's talented. She's beautiful. She's creative. Honestly, the best thing I got out of the season was my friendship with Jimbo. And I am so fucking proud that because one of the things I told her when I was leaving, because I came back in, I talked to Kahana, which I found so shocking that apparently all the things weren't resolved, because when I came back in, I specifically talked to her and we resolved it there on that couch that they didn't show. And then I also pulled Jimbo aside and I was like, bitch, where are these bitches at like you've been doing? Don't let these hoes send you home. And I was like, girl, just I know you can win this. Just make sure you don't get sent home.
Yeah.
So I'm so grateful that she won, because no offense to the other girls, she's the only one that deserved it.
Yeah.
For me personally, now I'm not gonna say she's the only one who deserved it. I'm gonna take that back. She's, from my standpoint of how I saw things going and how I was treated, for me personally, she's the only one that deserved it. Period.
She's a great person.
She's an amazing person.
Like, I became a big fan of Jambo during Canada's
Jambo's
Drag Race.
her name at the bathhouse.
Yeah, right? Which she does go to.
She's trying to get me to go. I've never been to
Really?
one.
Really? You've never been to one?
Should we go after this?
Yeah, let's go.
Oh my God, is there one nearby?
Pop in and... Well, there's a Korean spa. I know.
That's
I
fine.
talked
I love massage.
So, yeah, Jimbo is great. Like, during Canada's Drag Race, he was the one who came to me and said, I really want you to interview me. He was the one that was like, when I wanted him in my music video, he was like, yeah, tell me the dates, let's do it. Like, very, very creative, very, very out there, and just a great person.
She is. She's her friendship has done for me personally is, one, just having a great friend, and two, it's unlocked a level of creativity and thinking that I never thought I personally would have even thought of going and stuff. So it's even opened up avenues for me and stuff. So I'm like, her talent, her charisma, uniqueness, and server talent is infectious.
Yeah.
And I think that's the one thing that is undeniable about her.
Yeah.
For sure.
And you're now going on a cruise.
We're doing a cruise. I'm
going on the cruise.
Are you coming?
Yes,
oh
I
my
am.
God. Queen's Gone Wild. I'm trying to get them to do Jello wrestling. We'll see.
That would be fun.
It's just an excuse to throw candy around.
Hey. And throw Jello at candy.
It's just an excuse to throw candy around. I swear. I want them to do it so bad. I don't know if it's going to go, but we'll see.
So you get off the show.
Yes.
Let's throw Drag Race in the area of not going back to it now.
Fabulous.
And let's chat about everything that's coming down the pipeline for you and what you have going on. But before we do have fan questions.
Oh, sickening. Okay.
So are you ready for these little ditties?
I'm ready. Let's do it.
What was the Flesh Jack process? How was it?
The Flesh Jack process was, they asked me to bend over. They took a mold of my asshole. They probed it around a little bit, spread it open, slapped me on my ass. And then they were like, okay, well, it's going to be a mouth mold. So.
I was going with you.
I'm joking. No, none of that happened. But it was very like quick and easy. They approached me. They said they want to do a collab with a couple of the queens. I'm not sure if Alaska or Willem, one of them like thought of me, and that's why they came to me. And they were like, "Well, would you want to do it?" I was like, "I'll have to think about it," because honestly, it's not necessarily on brand for me. So I was like, "Let me think about it." And then I thought about it, like, you know what? Don't be scared, bitch. Let's do this. So I came back to them. I was like, you know what? I'll do it. But it needs to be two things. There needs to be two things. One, it needs to be classy, because I'm a classy woman. And two, it needs to have a gap.
Yes.
And they were obsessed with the idea. So they were like, yes. I'm like, okay, work. And it's been a great thing. It's been so good. The Heidi N Closet quick shot, make sure you get one. And it's been great having a sex toy, because so many porn stars have sent me videos of them using my toy. And it's been quite nice.
And you keep those for the spank bank.
Yeah.
Have you used your toy on yourself?
I have. It's quite luxurious.
So now you know what it feels like.
Well, it's not as good as the real thing,
Yeah.
Joseph.
Yeah.
So,
Well, that's what you think.
No,
You've
that's what I know.
Oh, that's what you know.
that's what I knew.
Does Jessica Wilde really pad her calves?
She does. It was a whole moment in the workroom. We were talking about it, and she was showing us. And I was like, I've personally have never seen that before. I was gagged when she was telling us and showing us the pads. It's like, I can't. It's yeah. She does. Yeah. I was gagged.
Damn.
I was like, okay, work.
You often say you're blessed and highly favored.
Mm-hmm.
What do you believe your biggest blessing has been in your career?
Honestly, I said it on the show. Actually, I said it while I was leaving. They didn't. It was one of the. It was one of my like confessionals, but it didn't make the cut. It was that I won when I walked in on season 12. Like I won a long time ago. Like I don't need to win Drag Race. I won just being there the first time around. So.
I love that.
Thanks.
Please ask her if she feels that because she quit, she is now looked down upon by the franchise producers in terms of ever being able to return again.
I mean, they've talked to me. They said that we're still family. They said they still would like to work with me. They said that they've even tried to book me for some of the House of Love things. Every time they try to book me, though, I'm always out of town because I'm a working girl. So, I mean, if they do, that's on them.
Yeah.
I don't give a fuck. If they don't want me back, great. If they want me back, great. What more do you want? They see the talent. If they want it, they'll come get it.
So, as we are closing all this out, I would love to know from you what's coming down the pipeline. What do you have that's coming up? What can we expect for Heidi?
I have a bunch of collaborations coming. I have a bunch of exclusive content on my Patreon, patreon.com/Heidi N Closet. I have a bunch of... I just have my hands all over the place. And in all
Is that how you work best?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Are you very ADHD?
No.
No.
No, I'm very much like, well, it is what it is. Just let it go. And the thing is, what I find is that I'm very much the type of person that it doesn't have to be perfect. Mm-hmm. I don't have to have things perfect. That's not me. I've never, from my first drag show to now, nothing's been perfect. So why try to be perfect? I'm not going to.
Yeah.
So I think that kind of lent it to just me being able to be me and just being able to have my fingers in all the different pots and pans and stuff. But stay tuned because this one collab I really want to talk about, but I can't. Sorry, y'all. I'm sorry. But I already signed the paperwork, so it's coming.
So it's coming. You have Heidi N Closet season 2 that's now on Mom Plus Gold.
Yes, and I'm also looking forward to working alongside, hopefully, Critical Role again for Dungeons and Dragons content. I'm just all over the place. If you look somewhere, you'll probably see Heidi, more than likely. So yeah, stay tuned.
Well, thank you so much, Heidi N Closet, for being here and chatting with me. Where can everybody find you on the social media?
Oh my goodness. Well, on most platforms, even Thread, you can find me at Heidi N Closet, except for TikTok, where you can find me at the Heidi N Closet, and Patreon at patreon.com/Heidi and Patreon, where you can see all my All-Star Runway looks.
Yes.
Where I'm actually slowly starting to leak them, but I'm not posting all of them. I'm only posting some of them. So there's still plenty on Patreon that's exclusive. So you can catch me there. Anywhere else, probably at your local bathhouse with Jimbo, because she is determined to get me to go to one. So
You so should, but it's got to be a good one.
It needs to be SceneWorks or something.
Yeah.
Actually, I was told not to go SceneWorks first because it sets the bar really high.
Okay, so then, yeah, maybe
So
you
I
need
need to go to like a
a
mediocre one first.
You need to go to the worst one possible.
Whoa, I don't know about on there. I have to have some quality. I have hyperactive salivatory glands.
Well, until next time, I'm Joseph Shepard. That's Heidi N Closet, and this has been Exposed.
Oh my God.